Back to the show, everybody. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast. We bring you on the upper tier out there on YouTube on a daily basis at this stage. This is your big match preview for Saturday evening at Anfield underneath the lights. Very unusual time, 7:45, quarter day kickoff. Obviously, the fixture was moved. I think it was a lunchtime fixture, 12:30, but it was moved to facilitate the final day of the championship. But we won't complain. An evening kickoff under the lights on Anfield, always something very special. This is a huge fixture. We come out of the Villarreal game winning 3-2, book our place in the final of the Champions League. So we can now park the Champions League, don't have to worry about it now for a couple of weeks, and get stuck into the league with two big league fixtures coming up, but also with one eye on that FA Cup final. Klopp versus Conte, interesting dynamic. Conte doing a reasonable job there at Spurs, but very good recently and stuff like that. Brought in some really, really good players, and we'll talk about that in the team news and the preview shortly. But this is really a title race versus a top four race, and there's a lot on the line here. Tottenham with an opportunity to play before Arsenal, so they could lay down a marker, and obviously we've an opportunity to play before Man City, who have collapsed in the Champions League. I don't know whether you've ever experienced anything like that. The last time I experienced anything like that was 99 when Man United beat Bayern Munich and won the treble. But let's get into this preview anyway. Liverpool obviously coming in great form, albeit a poor first half against Villarreal, but I'm sure Klopp absolutely hammered the boys at halftime, and they came out like a different side. Passing and movement, everything was exceptional, and a big win. But our focus is now back on the league as we hunt down, I think it's 6 games left to land a potential historic quadruple. Albeit we need City to mess up somewhere along the line, but who knows? The fact that we're playing beforehand means we can put a tad bit more pressure on them if we get the win under our belt and go top for 24 hours. That coupled with the disappointment of Man City performing in the Champions League the way they did and going out the way they did. Massive job for Pep Guardiola to lift those boys again now and chin up for a title run in 4 games. So anything could happen. And who knows, things sometimes happen in twos, don't they? And who knows, could you imagine a situation on Sunday evening where we've got to the final of a Champions League? We're looking forward to an FA Cup final, and we could be on top potentially by 2 points or a point, depending on how Newcastle do. Eddie Howe, of course, will be up for it, doing a fantastic job at Newcastle there. So it should be a really, really good game, that Super Sunday, Man City versus Newcastle. Liverpool have only lost one of their last 18 meetings with Tottenham, winning 12 of those, while at Anfield their record extends to no defeats in 10 and just one in their last 27. So we've a really, really good record at home to Tottenham. But that doesn't matter unless we get the job done on Saturday. Tottenham come into the match showing some form, big win over Leicester, as we know, as they hunt down this top 4 spot. Obviously, it's coming down to really themselves and Arsenal at this stage. So that North London derby next week is going to be absolutely massive. But interesting games this weekend as well. Obviously, Tottenham at Anfield, which is going to be a very tough one for Tottenham and for ourselves. But obviously Arsenal as well against Leeds on the Sunday, which won't be an easy one either, pending how results go at the weekend. Leeds will be looking over their shoulder big time, so they'll want to put on a performance and try and come away from the Emirates with something. But it sets up beautifully for next weekend for that North London derby. And to be honest, I think I said in the Premier League preview, or beat the bookie if you check it out, myself and Darren are going to drop a preview for that North London derby, and see what dynamic we come up with as 2 neutrals. So it should be interesting. Current form at the moment, Liverpool in all competitions with all the W's. Obviously in the Premier League, there's just that one little blip of that draw, but everything else is W's all the way. For Spurs, it's 4 wins, a loss and a draw. That little dip in form they had that time with the loss and the draw, but back to winning ways against Leicester, and it was needed to propel them back into this top 4 race. If we get into team news, for Liverpool at the moment, Roberto Firmino, as we know, is still nursing this foot injury. Based on the gaffer's updates, we would have thought he would have been back by now. He had mentioned that he had expected him back for the Villarreal game, but it must be It must be more so than that, but it'll be interesting to see who Klopp deploys. I wouldn't be surprised if he rings a few changes from the other night against Villarreal. But again, he has to be conscious because we're up against a decent side here with Son and Kane and Kulichevsky and Romero at the back and stuff like that. These are very dangerous players. And we also know that Son at the moment is also trying to hunt down this golden boot as well with Mo Salah. So we have to be really careful of that. But in terms of team news, also Alisson Becker, he's looking at equaling Peter Cech's all-time Premier League clean sheet record for a season of 24. He can equal that on Saturday. And then obviously he has 3 more games to beat it. Would you back against the big man? I don't think so. For Tottenham, team news, Matt Doherty out, Reguilon out, Tanganga out, all remain sidelined, while Oliver Skip is out for the rest of the season after undergoing surgery. Kulichevsky sat out the Leicester game, but he'll be back in the starting 11 for this one. He's been a massive player for them. And as I said, Son, meanwhile, is chasing down Salah in terms of this golden boot race. Could bag his 20th of the season this weekend if he scores against Liverpool. That'll be a big milestone for the boy. So fair play to him. Don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but we'll see. In the prediction, I think we could predict maybe Spurs might get one, but Liverpool, just between clean sheets and that defence is just rock solid at the moment. Possible lineups: Liverpool, Alisson, Trent, Matip coming back in for Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, Salah, Mane, and Diaz. I think you'll start with Diaz because I think Diaz could be. I think he'd be going down that side. Does he come up against Emerson Royale? I think so. And if he does, he could give that guy a really hard time on Saturday evening. The Matip Konate one is really the flip of a coin. Both have been absolutely excellent this season. But this is just the way Klopp has made these changes. Henderson, I think 100% comes in from Keita. Poor Sean from Keita the other night against Villarreal. Thiago, I think, will remain. He will keep his spot because I'd say Klopp wants him to raise his game again, albeit he had a decent second half. But I think Klopp will want him to get back to where he was, especially with that FA Cup final on the horizon. And I think Salah, Mane through the middle, and Diaz, I think that is now probably the preferred front three lineup for Jurgen Klopp at this stage. Jota probably a little bit hard done by. He had an exceptional season up till a few months ago, but the last, say, 2.5 months, he's come off the boil a little bit. But should get back in there as well. No doubt he'll probably be used as a sub at the weekend. For Tottenham, Lloris and goals, no surprise there. Romero at the back with Dyer, Davis, and Emerson. Bentancur in the middle with Hallberg, Sessegnon, Kulichevsky up front with Kane and Son. So very attacking minded Tottenham Hotspur. I think with Conte, I think you'll probably get them to dig in maybe for the first 15 to 20 minutes. Because I think the risk is if Spurs open up too early, I think what might happen is it could be game over very quickly in terms of Liverpool, in terms of the break and the counter and the press. So I think Conte will be a little bit more aware of that, and he might try and keep it tight for maybe the first 20, 25 minutes or something like that, and then figure out to send his men into battle there to try and get something and score maybe on the break or something like that. So we have to be really careful, especially playing that high line as well. The speed of Kane, Son, and Kulichevsky. We'd have to be very much aware of that. They could easily get goals on the break. In terms of prediction, I'm going with a 3-1 win for Liverpool to go top of the league at least for 24 hours. And let's see what happens with that Man City Newcastle game, as we said earlier. On the betting, I had a look. Liverpool 4-9 on, the draw 7-2, and Spurs 5-1. Again, I suppose the betting is a reflection of how the two teams are playing at the moment. But I mean, in terms of attacking talent and stuff like that, I don't think there's that much of a gulf between them from 4-9 on to 5-1. So we're going to have to be really on it. Really, no complacency. Get on it from minute one. Nothing but 3 points at this stage. We can't afford any point drops at this stage. Every game now is a cup final all the way in, as we've said in previous episodes. Have to go out, put on a performance, That midfield one is going to be vital, and that's why I think Henderson is going to be the one that's in there battling away with Bentancur and Hallberg. These are strong midfielders, especially, I mean, the signings he's brought in, Bentancur and Kulusevski, have been absolutely outstanding. And then you couple that with the attacking of Kane and Son. And the one thing we're going to really need to be careful of is balls coming into the box as well, because we know how good Kane is on those as well. So we seen the other night the way Trent went to sleep on that goal at the back post and stuff like that. We can't afford for that to be happening. And no doubt they will target Trent as well. But I think he'll have more than enough for these guys. And I think because it's Anfield and with the crowd behind us and everything else and under the lights Saturday night, an unusual game as well. I mean, I don't know how many times we've ever played under the lights at Anfield on a Saturday night at nearly 8 o'clock. But really looking forward to it, and it's sets up nicely for a nice day of football on Saturday, especially with the two evening games. I know Brighton are hosting Man United, which should be interesting, and then ourselves versus Tottenham makes for a nice football evening, to say the least. Let us know your predictions down in the comments, guys, and let us know what your preferred starting lineup is. Do you keep Matip back in there? Do you put Konate back in there? Is the front three Salah, Mane, and Diaz? Would you change it up slightly? Midfield, I think most of us would agree Hendo goes in there. And with the strength of the two boys that are in there for Spurs, I think it'll need that strength and structure and sort of control that Hendo brings to the midfield. Fabinho, who we know is so good, and Thiago with his range of passing is going to be outstanding. And who knows, the boy Diaz might pick up a few goals. You never know. If you want to contact the show, we're on Twitter at Session Shankly. It's the upper tier out on YouTube. If you could drop out there, drop a subscribe and a like and a share on the content. We appreciate that. We're trying to grow the channel as much as we can. As you know, on YouTube, it's always a struggle with these things, but we're trying to get there slowly but surely. So any help or support you can give us would be greatly appreciated. If you want to email the shows, the upper tier podcast at gmail.com. We're also out on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, the upper tier. You get us out there. Always audio versions of the show, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. And we will be back Saturday evening with a match reaction and player ratings. Probably be a late one. We're probably talking close to 10 o'clock before that goes out. But we appreciate your support as always as we come through this historic season, the closest a side has ever come to doing a quadruple. Can the boys keep it going? Damn right they can. Till next time, a pleasure, my Reds.